In this video, we're going to talk about global schedule settings. To get there, we go to Setup at the top of the screen, My Company, Information and Settings, then the Schedule button. When the schedule settings load up here, the first option that we have in the top left is default values, and this is default values for new appointments. So when you go and create a new appointment, it's automatically going to set the duration to 1 hour and the appointment time to client in office. You can change that, so you can make it so that everybody in the system, when they go to create an appointment, the default duration is half an hour or 45 minutes or whatever the policy is in your office. You can also change the default appointment type. Maybe it's tax, or maybe it's at client office if you do a lot of in-person consulting. To the right of that, we've got automatic confirmation calls. This means that you can create confirmation calls for, and if you click this little ellipses, it allows you to choose certain schedule types. So for certain event types, you can have a confirmation call created automatically X number of days prior to the appointment and assign that call to a certain staff member. So let's say we have this set up for the appointment type client in office. When I make a new client in office appointment, I have this set to 1 day prior to appointment. It's going to make a call, like on the calls tab for that client, and it's going to assign that call to the staff member I have selected. So in this case, staff member A, and it's just going to say, call this client and confirm their appointment for tomorrow. And it'll make those automatically when I make my appointment. You can always make confirmation calls manually on the appointment. That this is to automatically create them for specific appointment types. To the left here, under reminders, we have the default values for reminders when new appointments are being created. So by default, add to activity list is checked in 5 days before the due date. Maybe you want it 1 day, maybe you don't want it to add to your activity list at all by default. You want to choose which ones add. You can uncheck that here and change those defaults. Same goes for pop-up reminders. To the right here, confirmation letters. Confirmation letters are a feature of the form letters. So if you open up those form letters and you go to the appointment type, you can automatically generate confirmation letters for everybody with a certain type of appointment in a given time period. So in tax season, you might go in there and you say, everybody who has an appointment next week, I want to send them a letter or an email based on my template that I've set up for that letter. You can automatically set certain appointments to be marked for printing so that those will be generated for you automatically. Beneath that, in other settings, we have allow staff to enter personal appointments. Personal appointments is a checkbox when you go to create a new appointment. It means that you don't have to select a particular client that appointment is for. It also shields certain details from other staff, so you can put things in there like doctor's appointment or hair appointment, something like that. Over here under reoccur options, you can make certain appointment types reoccur automatically on a certain interval, very similar to confirmation calls. You can also set existing appointments this way of a certain type if you want to do that retroactively. This one here at the bottom, the monthly calendar, when you're looking at your monthly calendar, the appointments are pretty small, so you don't get a lot of information per appointment when looking at the monthly calendar, and you might have some clients that have a really long file as name. In those cases, you probably won't see any of the subject on the monthly calendar for clients with a really long file as name, because the file as name comes first and then the subject usually. If you want to swap those around, if you want the subject to be first and then the file as name for certain clients, you can do that here by clicking on the ellipses button and choosing the context that you want that to be switched for, but only in the monthly calendar view. We also have this email reminders button here at the bottom. This is very similar to confirmation calls as well. You're just going to send email reminders for new and updated appointments, and then you're going to specify the appointment types that you want to send those reminders for. You can also enter the default text for those reminders, and when this is done, it basically pops them up in your Outlook. It doesn't just send them automatically. So if you wanted to add some personalizing detail to that email, you'll have that option when it is generated for you. And those are your global schedule settings.